For the past 10 months, ICE has been illegally kidnapping people, disappearing people, and over 22 people have died in ICE custody. This is a story about Randall Gamboa, 52 years old, who died after ICE gave him a unknown medication that left him in such severe unwell conditions that he was sent to Costa Rica, and 2 months later he died. This is his story. I want to give credit to El País for reporting this. Go check them out. They did great reporting on this story. It was a shocking sight, she recounts over the phone. He couldn't speak or move. The wounds on his body were neglected and open. He was filthy, smelled bad, and his mouth was full of dried blood. Randall Gamboa, 52, was deported by U.S. authorities and arrived in Costa Rica in a vegetative state suffering from encephalopathy and rhabdomyolysis. He could no longer walk or eat on his own. Less than 2 months later, Gamboa died in a hospital in Pérez Celedón, his hometown in the south of the country. I looked up what rhabdomyolysis is. Rhabdomyolysis is a rare muscle injury where your muscles break down. This is a life-threatening condition that can happen after an injury or excessive exercise without rest. I also looked up encephalopathy. Encephalopathy is a change in how your brain functions. You may feel confused, agitated, or not like yourself. It can be a temporary disturbance, or it could permanently damage your brain. There are many possible causes of encephalopathy, like an infection or an underlying condition. Lady, her mother, and the rest of the family wants answers and say they are willing to take Randall's case to the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, IACHR. The family went through a calvary that began in February when Randall was arrested by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Texas after crossing the border from Tijuana, Mexico. Randall was first held at the Webb County Detention Center and later transferred to Port Isabel, both in Texas. During his time in those centers, he called his family every day, but on June 12th, he disappeared. He wasn't answering our calls, and we were very worried. Finally, someone at the detention center said he had a health issue, and that's why he wasn't answering us. But they didn't give us any more information, says Grady. Juan Ignacio Rodriguez, legal advisor for the International Institute for Social Responsibility and Human Rights, a Costa Rica-based NGO dedicated to promoting compliance with international human rights standards, explained by telephone that, quote, there is no similar precedent to the case of Randall Gamboa in international law. Quote, this case is complicated because the United States has the peculiarity of not having ratified many international human rights treaties, the expert notes. The United States has not accepted the jurisdiction of the IACHR, nor has it accepted several United Nations treaties, so it is virtually impossible to denounce the United States before international human rights bodies or tribunals, explains Rodriguez. According to the lawyer, one of the few options available are the IACHR mechanisms known as the, quote, thematic hearings. These, however, are not contentious and do not take place before court. Rather, their purpose is to, quote, raise awareness of the issue. Another alternative, he added, would be to bring a case against Costa Rica if the family believes that the Costa Rican consulate in the United States was aware of what was happening to Randall and, quote, did not act diligently in this regard. In its official statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs noted that during the time Mr. Gamboa remained in the custody of Customs and Immigration, the Consulate General of Costa Rica in Houston followed up on his case, taking all possible actions within the framework of international law and applicable local regulations. This is from The Guardian. This is what The Guardian reported on November 4th. The statement from the Assistant Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said that Gamboa, quote, illegally re-entered the U.S., a felony, in December 2024. Citing information from Gamboa's family, the Spanish-language news outlet El País reported that he had embarked for the U.S. in search of work, and the Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agency arrested him in Texas in February. McLaughlin's statement said, quote, medical professionals diagnosed Gamboa with unspecified psychosis and hospitalized him at Valley Baptist Hospital so he could get proper mental health and medical care. Gamboa's family described not being able to find him until August after they were scammed by 2 attorneys and then actually located him with the help of a third lawyer. By then, Gamboa was bedridden in a vegetative state, and his family attorney began the process of having him sent to Costa Rica. Remember how I said one of his conditions was rhabdomyolysis? This is how you can get it. Medications. Some medications can cause muscle breakdown, including antipsychotic, antidepressant, and antiviral medications. Statin medications can also lead to rhabdomyolysis, especially when they treat diabetes or liver disease. Remember when I talked about encephalopathy? Well, this is how you can also get it. Toxic encephalopathy. Medications such as painkillers, sedatives, psychological medications, or antibiotics, street drugs, or poisons. An ambulance paid for by ICE flew Gamboa to Costa Rica on 3 September, El País wrote. Stricken from encephalopathy, the muscle ailment, rhabdomyolysis, and the inability to eat on his own, he was admitted to an emergency room in the Costa Rican capital of San Jose before being transferred to a hospital in his hometown of Pérez Celedón. Gamboa then died in that hospital on 26 October. His family has since sought to apply pressure on Costa Rica's government to demand answers from their U.S. counterparts, but Gamboa's family told El País that they are under the impression that the Costa Rican government is reluctant to get involved beyond, quote, the bare minimum. In a video recorded outside of Gamboa's funeral and aired by Spanish-language news network Univision, his significant other, Adriana Ureña, said, quote, the medical treatment that Randall got in the United States, in my opinion, was terrible. These are the 3 Valley Baptist medical centers around the area that could have possibly given him the psychiatric that caused this. To this day, the family does not know what medication was given to him. This is the detention center where he was last at. This is the detention center where he was at in the very beginning. This is Representative Henry Coulier. He represents the 28th District. He represents where one of the ICE detention facilities are. If you are able to, please call his office and demand that his office does an independent investigation on what happened to Randall Gamboa, because this man, 52 years old, ended up dead on United States land, and we need to know why. This is Vincent Gonzalez. He is the representative for the 34th District of Texas. If you can, call his office as well, because his district is where one of the detention facilities that Randall Gamboa spent, and he also should demand an independent investigation as well. I know that it says on this GoFundMe page that the family is currently not accepting donations, but I still want to shout out their GoFundMe page because this family lost a loved one and the United States is responsible. And so I still want to shout them out. I will still put the link in the comments just so you have it. Randall Gamboa was 52 years old when he died. The fact that the United States has not told his family what medication was given to him is completely unacceptable, considering they are responsible for his death. It is our responsibility to demand justice for him and his family. It is our responsibility to demand that he gets justice, and we need to demand that for him and his family. So please spread this story, make it known. This is not the first, this is not the last, but this is one of the times the United States government and ICE killed someone because they were an undocumented person.